Yeah, there's a lot here right now. Um, First off, make no mistake about it. I've been praising uh, the Cowboys' offense here, but this is where Colin kind of drives me crazy because he'll say things like the Philadelphia Eagles have the top O line in the NFL, this, that, and the third, and yet they have a worse O line than the Dallas Cowboys. And he's now saying they don't have a great O line, but it's emerging. And it's like, it's ridiculous. And when we look versus the blitz, Dak Prescott is not the best. Matthew Stafford has, by the way, 21 touchdowns when blitzed. 21 touchdowns when blitzed and one interception. Jalen Hurts 10 touchdowns, one interception. Dak Prescott has 6 touchdowns, one interception, and has 968 yards. Stafford has 1,000. Jalen has 1,000. Caleb has 1,000. Herbert has 1 and 100. Drake May has 1,000. So I'm not really entirely sure what he's going off here. Dak Prescott has a 107 passer rating when blitzed. Jalen Hurts is 115.2. Matthew Stafford is 122.3. Lamar 103. Goff 112. Drake May 110. Justin Fields 109. So we can say that Dak is having a great season because he is. We can say that the Dallas Cowboys are a lot better than Colin thought they were going to be. Again, make no mistake about it. I'm not the one that said the Cowboys were going to be trash this season. I'm the one that elevated the Cowboys when people like Nick downgraded them, when Brew downgraded them, when Colin downgraded them. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. So don't come at me and say that I'm being a Dak hater or Cowboys hater because it's just not true. It's absolutely positively not true. And when the locker room got all weird, like any of the off-season conversations and about Micah and this or that, especially going into 24 and then a little bit of, was it the conversations were a little bit quieter for whatever reason? This past summer, maybe because Dak was injured and whatnot, but I was like, I'm picking Dak over anyone else in that locker room, without a doubt. So, I floated the whole move on from Micah in 24 when they were trying to figure out how do we pay each of these. So, like, let's stop with the random Dak hate accusations. When I made my own mountain earlier this week, I put Dak at the top. I put him at the second. The only reason why they weren't at the top is because I put Jameis Winston at the top because it was fun. Because Jameis Winston had a wild game, but so like let's be clear here. Who's under more pressure to win? It depends how you want to define the pressure right now. Okay. Dak has undeniably consistently struggled against great opponents. Now there's the question of how great are the Chiefs? I made the argument going into the Eagles-Cowboys game that I'm more interested to see how the Cowboys play against the Kansas City Chiefs, not the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles are literally the definition of a division rivalry game. And Matt Hasselbeck said the exact same thing. He literally said the exact same thing. He's got no, iron in the fire there. He's just a guy who was a quarterback for years, and just his observation. He's like, my whole life, the Cowboys and Eagles have always been this really big physical, beat 'em up game, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, they're the definition of a divisional game. So it just, I don't learn a ton from the Dallas Cowboys in that regard. And the Dallas Cowboys have consistently, for years and years, beat up on bad teams and struggled with great ones. It's just the reality. Any of the reasons why you want to say, oh, it's because of this or that. It doesn't matter. It's just the reality. It's how it's been. And they've consistently come up short in the playoffs, even when they're winning 12 plus games and you're saying they're this great team. And then they fail, then they struggle. Dak struggles. And Dak, despite what people want to pretend, Dak has not had bad teams. Throughout his entire career, at various times, he's had top O-lines, top run games, top defenses. So we can stop with that. You had Kel Moore as your offensive coordinator, and the Eagles literally won a Super Bowl with Kel Moore as the offensive coordinator. Okay, Dan Quinn built awesome defenses, so we got to stop with the nonsense here. And so this is where I was thinking about this more now that we're actually here. Because I was having the conversation about the Chiefs versus the Cowboys, and it was before the Chiefs played the Colts and the Eagles played the Cowboys. And I was just trying to think of like, what does this game to me mean to me? What does this prove? And I keep kind of flip-flopping a little bit because I'm kind of wrestling with what what can be like Colin's asking like, who's under more pressure to win? And it's just like the interesting question to me is what does this game tell us? What does this game tell us? I still think the Chiefs are a really tough team. I still think they're really difficult to beat. So, on one side, if the Cowboys beat the Chiefs, you can absolutely positively make the argument, hey, the Chiefs are just not who they were, man. They are just not the team that they were, and I'm overinflating them, and Colin had been overinflating them, and it's time to acknowledge they're just not the Chiefs that we know. Yeah, they're not a trash team. They're not the Carolina Panthers, but you're still putting them through this lens of like, man, it is hard to beat the Chiefs. Even if their record, doesn't necessarily seem that way, like it was in 23, for instance, and in 24 was like they were hard to beat, but everyone felt that they just won because of all the voodoo out there. And it's just like, you know, they've lost, even that they've taken a step back even from that. Like it is a valid argument. I'm not making that argument right now because I don't know, it but it is at least a leg. It is a legitimate argument that you can throw into the fire. But right now, the way how I look at it is that they're still a really difficult team to play, and still a really difficult team to beat. And so I do think that, like I had said, that beating the Chiefs would be more impressive to me than not, than beating, like, say, a team like the Eagles. Now it's kind of interesting though, because if the Chiefs beat the Cowboys easily or convincingly, or they just beat them, and it's just like, I don't know, it's not like this crazy game. It's a straightforward football game, right? Like nothing wild, nothing crazy, nothing too like I can't believe I just witnessed this game. It was one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Just a straightforward game. They win. Game over? What are you going to do? Then it kind of does continue that, idea that the Cowboys can't beat good teams. But it would still be like I would still be interested in seeing Dak's performance more than anything, because I could still be more forgiving on the Cowboys defense, because then you could still say, well, the defense isn't good. But it's just like you can't say that if Dak Prescott only throws for 210 yards, one touchdown, you know, like it's not a great game by him. He's not doing well. He looks overwhelmed. He looks flustered. He turned the ball over, etc., etc., right? So it's like I'm more interested in seeing Dak's performance against the Kansas City Chiefs defense against Spags. That's what I'm most interested in seeing. That is actually what I am truly am most I can imagine Mahomes and whatnot will do well against this defense. And if he doesn't, then honestly, that tells me more about what the heck is going on with Mahomes than Mahomes really is losing his fastball. That Mahomes is genuinely struggling in a more like core way, rather than just, oh, his team's just not good enough right now because his team should be good enough. And this defense, maybe, although it's improved and it's better than it was without some of these injuries and some of these trades, um, and I'm the one that said I think I is actually not a bad defensive coach again going into the season. I said this defense I think will be better. Now they had their injuries and they moved on from Micah, so that K got kicked down the road a little bit. But we'll see. The Chicago Bears had a better defense with Ibrafus. Just saying. They didn't have a better team with Ibrafus because he's not a good head coach, and that's totally fair. But he's not some defensive coach bum here. And I always said that when you're having CD Lamb, you're having Pickens, etc., that Dak is too good of a quarterback to not have a ton of success offensively. The question mark was Schenheimer. How good of a coach will he be, etc., etc. And he's proved to be, very, very, very good. But this game is actually really fascinating. I think this is one of those games where until I understand how this game legitimately unfolds and what it looks like, I think the takeaways are going to be kind of hard to predict, because it's like, let's say that Dak Prescott does not play well in this game. The offense does not play well. But the defense rises to the occasion. Patrick Mahomes he's been turning the ball over. He's been having terrible interceptions. Like legitimately, where you're just like, oh man, dude, that's devastating right now. Like if they're able to win and it's just clear that Mahomes did not play well, that offense couldn't do much, but Dak doesn't look good either. It's like, it doesn't really move the needle as much to me then, because I'm just kind of like, it kind of starts to reinforce that pattern. If Dak plays great and is controlling the offense, and that offense is moving the ball and at will, and you're seeing a high quality offensive game against Bags in this defense, that to me is incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. If the Cowboys shut down Mahomes in this offense, it's like, that'll be interesting. It's like, again, you got to see how it looks. See how it's happening. Are they disrupting Mahomes? Are they getting to him? Are they drawing pressure up on him? Like again, that'll be just interesting to see how that unfolds. But yeah, this is a. I wish this game was at night. They messed up the timing. This game needed to be the night game, honestly. I mean, they were anticipating, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, a battle of titans right now at prime time. And it's just like that's not it. Obviously, this is the game. Last year we had, what was it? The Cowboys and the Giants and like Cooper Rush and I don't know, Jimmy Cutlets or whoever the heck was in there. Like this is a fascinating game that I can genuinely see going in every single direction. Every single option that's on the table for how this game can unfold. I see it. I see the potential for every single path forward, which is I love those games because that's like can't make huge predictions. But you know who's under more pressure to win? I think Dak is under pressure to play great. Otherwise, again, that pattern is a legitimate pattern. And it's not like even if he plays great against the Chiefs that it automatically now breaks that pattern, but it's a great step in the right direction. A huge step. Ultimately, you break that by playing great in the playoffs, right? But in terms of, also the pressure to win, I'd say the Chiefs, because say what you will about this Cowboys team, they're not this juggernaut of a team. They're not this top elite team that everyone's like, dude, that's the contender. That's the contender. And the Chiefs have always beaten those teams when they needed to. Yeah. Do they drop a random game against a team here and there over their dynastic run? Of course, but it is truly like at this point, like nearly every single game for the Kansas City Chiefs is a playoff game. And so if they start dropping these games, if they can't find a way to disrupt Dak, a quarterback who's notoriously been able to be disrupted throughout the course of his career, you're just kind of like, okay, well, that's interesting. And this defense, although it's improved, you saw what the Philadelphia Eagles offense was able to do, and then it got shut down in the second half. But like, that's more on the Eagles than just the brilliant defensive coaching. And again, that's where it drives me crazy about Colin, because he's like, ask the Philadelphia Eagles, they couldn't run either. And that's what I showed you before, where he literally made fun of Micah Parsons for bragging about shutting down the Philadelphia Eagles run game. And he said, everyone shuts down the Eagles run game, which is true. So it's just, I am interested to see what they do. And the Kansas City Chiefs haven't had necessarily a strong run game either. It's been a tick better than what the Eagles have been able to do. So, yeah, this game is going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a video for it tomorrow exactly. This is like, again, this is right in the middle of, Thanksgiving, and I think it'll probably be right when I get together with my family. So I'll be like, hey, oh my God, it's so great to see you. Oh my God, I know. Okay, can you guys get away from me? I gotta watch this game right now. Like, so I'm not sure what the story is gonna be here, and I'll be with my nieces and nephews and whatnot. So at the least, I might try to just post a video, even if I don't get to really watch the full game quite yet, and I'll make a true post game video on Friday. But at the least, like, I'll maybe just post a quick reaction, depending on how much I'm able to see of the game, even if I don't get to see much of the game. Still post a reaction so we can at least, I'll talk about it all in the comments section. But, tomorrow is a little bit of a play-by-ear type of situation, because last year, none of the games really mattered all too much. So especially the game in the middle with the Giants and the Cowboys. So just there was, not much incentive to say, okay, excuse me, family who I haven't seen, all year. Let me go. I gotta make a YouTube video and post it right now. So we'll see. But I'm pumped for this game. I am pumped for this game. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Kansas City Chiefs? Who do you think is under more pressure to win? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So, you agree with me or disagree with me? Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next out.